Hello, Netflix Book Club. Welcome to another episode of But Have You Read the Book? Today we are talking Along for the Ride. Joining me today are stars Emma Passero and Belmont Cameli, and best-selling author Sarah Dessen, and the film's writer and director Sofia Alvarez. But to start, how did you two know you had to audition to be a part of this story?
Well, I first read the screenplay, I immediately felt really connected to Eli. I drew a lot of parallels between his life and my own, and I very quickly felt like I could bring a lot of myself to the role, which is not something that I had anticipated or done in the past, but it just felt like the right approach for him.
I remember so clearly reading the script for the first time because I was so amazed at how she was so many things at once. She's incredibly smart. She's independent. She's strong. I think she grew up around a lot of chaos, and so she found a lot of solace in her books and kind of being like the stable, strong, holding it together force in her family. And while she doesn't have many experiences with friends, she would love connection with friends, would love to fall in love, but she puts up a front.
Can we talk about Auden's friendship with Maggie, Leah, and Esther?
Yeah.
What do you think she learned, Auden?
Well, I mean, this is just the most transformative summer, and a lot of it came from Eli, but I think a lot of it came from the female friendships. Also, I would even include Heidi in that. Auden, unfortunately, does judge them at the start, but because they are so patient with her, eventually she realizes that they're wonderful people. I think before it, she's really good at academia, so she sticks to that and doesn't even try with the other things, but she's sort of like, wait a second, the messiness is interesting. I can make out with Maggie's boyfriend. That can be really an awkward thing, but we not only can like get past it, but we can become best friends. Oh, I love the friendships. And also just like...
I love the dance break.
Oh, yeah.
It's fabulous. Yeah, no, it's like, and I can like really relate to the sort of like not wanting to engage with that because that's so scary.
So I understand. Yeah. I mean, I'm younger than you guys, so like I'm closer to it.
Yeah.
But, but I remember.
Yes, exactly.
What was that?
Dance break. Happens every night at 6.
You can join in next time if you want. I'm good.
It's just learning that you're not all one thing, whatever that thing is.
And that's what I got out of both the characters. You know, they've both been through something. Eli has been through some really tough stuff, and it's a lot for a young person to handle. You know, to Belmont, I want to ask you, what were the most challenging parts about playing or portraying Eli's emotional complexity?
When we meet Eli, he's in mourning. And that mourning manifests not only in his insomnia, but also in like a kind of denial of self. And I think his inner turmoil is portrayed best through his relationship with BMX, because he's sworn off competing as like an act of loyalty to his late friend, but he still can't help but get on that bike every night and go out to the boardwalk. So, through his relationship with Auden, she allows him to kind of maybe, without him even knowing, reinvigorate his old self and bring those dark parts of his life back to light.
I'm curious, why do you think Eli and Auden are drawn to each other?
The simplest answer is that they're both insomniacs, so, I mean, logistically, they're just awake at the same time.
You never told me your name.
I didn't?
No.
Oh. I'm Eli.
Through all of the time that they spend together, they kind of hold a mirror up to each other and they challenge each other. And I think that allows both of them to grow. We referred to Auden and Eli as antenna people.
Yeah.
And antenna people are someone that you can just see from across the room for the first time and feel like a connection to them. And, the romance only developed after they'd begun to spend quality time together. But I think at first they're kind of feeling each other out.
I think that Auden has straight up feelings for Eli pretty quickly. But the very first thing that Eli says to Auden is commenting on the book she's reading.
Colette, huh? Boner.
Not always.
Even though that's a thing that ultimately doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter necessarily that the person you were crushed on likes the same books as you did, but I think that sort of made her ears perk up in a new way, like, oh, this person reads the same books as I do.
Yeah.
And so that alone like opened the door a little bit, and then of course it was just enough so that she could go to the pie shop.
Pie shop is what.
And then
Yeah.
the rest is history.
Yeah.
I mean, the pie shop was a game changer.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
When do you think that you think she was in From Jump. When do you think the characters fell in love then?
I think that a really significant moment in the relationship is the food fight.
Oh,
Wow.
Food fight! That moment where Eli initially doesn't want to attend hot dog party. He's not even going to go. And then he takes a risk and does go. And then in turn, Auden takes a risk herself. And
Yeah.
when she smears the potato salad on Eli's face, it's actually a very like nice gesture. She's
Yeah.
really saying like, allow me to reintroduce you to yourself.
Mm.
And when I pour the beans on your head, it's like a thank you.
Yeah. What's really special about Auden and Eli is they form a secret language of care for one another.
Yeah.
And it's not always verbal. It's kind of just, I think, showing up. So
Yes.
part of it. And so when Eli shows up, I think that alone is something that Auden internalizes as like care and love.
Mhm.
And then in turn, she wants to make Eli feel cared for and taken care of. And so she smears the potato salad. And they don't need to talk about it. They don't need to explain why, but they just get it and they get each other. And I think that's what's so special about this relationship.
We're going to play a quick little game to get to know Emma and Belmont a bit better. We're going to create your perfect all-nighter. Okay, your first stop. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Yes.
You'll need energy for the fun adventure ahead. What is your all-time favorite snack food?
Ooh,
All-time favorite snack food.
I already know. Sorry, 1 second.
This is the longest snack
You have great
food.
penmanship.
Okay.
It's
Ready?
specific.
Go. Let me see. Trader Joe's peanut butter filled pretzels.
Oh, I could eat some full bag.
Leftovers from Belmont. I gotta go with Team Leftovers.
Yeah, man.
They're
But
solid.
that's so vague.
No,
Because
it's just
and
it's whatever
so
you had for
completing.
dinner. Just eat it again. You have a second
Fine.
meal.
Yeah. It's that exciting ride home when you're like, oh, I still
What
have
is
pizza
it?
in there.
Yes, right.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. You've got the food now, but how are you taking your late night coffee?
Oh,
Late night coffee.
I know how you're taking it.
Yeah.
Ready? Let me see. What is it?
Oh.
Espresso?
Well, mine's
No, show
plain.
it.
Plain.
Plain coffee. Just straight up plain coffee.
Plain.
Yeah.
Second stop. You want to do something a little reckless to kick off the night. What do? Race bikes on the open road or sneak into a lighthouse?
Oh.
Go. Got it. Got it. And
Okay, we pick something else.
race bikes, lighthouse. I think I'm Team Lighthouse on that one. Third stop. Let's awaken the inner child. Which kid-friendly activity do you try to do under the cloak of darkness? Mini golf or bowling?
Mm.
Mini golf or bowling?
Wow, this is good.
We're always picking different
Yeah.
ones.
I chose mini golf.
I chose bowling.
Yeah.
I am a fan of both. I feel like I'm a team mini golf.
Mini
though, in
golf,
that-
well,
in
well,
that
at least
circumstance.
if you're going to do mini golf at night, at least you're aware that it's nighttime. You go into a bowling alley, it's nighttime 24 hours a day in a bowling.
Yeah, but picture
Fair.
this. You're in a bowling alley,
On picture.
very late at night.
Uh-huh.
Nobody's there.
Okay.
You can use every lane, all the lanes run across from each lane.
You only need one lane.
I know, but it's kind of the idea. I feel like you have your run of the place.
Fair
very
enough.
late at night.
Yeah,
How does
that's
the
fair.
pin? Fair enough.
There you go.
I feel like I've gotten to know you both a little bit better since playing the game.
Good.
I don't think we said anything the same.
That's typical of us.
Yeah.
That's the chemistry. Joining me now is Sarah Dessen, the book's author, and Sofia Alvarez, the screenwriter and director. And Sofia, this film is your directorial debut.
Yes.
Major.
It is.
Let's cheers to that, ladies. Women directing
Very
films.
exciting.
Yes.
Right. Way to go.
Cheers. Okay, first we have to just talk a little bit about what an accomplished writer that you are. With so many bestsellers, what do you especially love about this book, Along for the Ride?
Well, this was the first book I wrote as a mom. Before, it was my 9th book. So the first 8 were, I was writing from a daughter's point of view, you know, and I wrote busy mother-daughter stories. But when you become the mother yourself, the narrative definitely shifted for me.
So what do you then want people to take away from the novel?
Well, I think it's very much a story about mothers and daughters. But it's also a story about finding yourself. And I think with Auden, she is one of those people that thinks she has everything pretty much figured out. She's done everything by the book her whole life. And then she ends up in this new situation and everything pivots and changes.
I think it's great. Like, I just, for myself personally, like this idea of like the quest or a bucket list at 90, you know, finding the things you want to see, you made a list and seizing them. Like, that's kind of cool.
And I think there are so many iconic adolescent experiences, and they're sort of the tropes of young adult, you know? And this is sort of a story about a girl who didn't get to do a lot of those things and is sort of cramming them all into one summer.
What drew you to this book and to stories about young women in particular coming of age?
I read the novel and, you know, coming from this very intellectual family that expected a certain amount of the children from that family. And so I really related to that part of her character and sort of trying to live up to her parents' expectation of her and live up to her parents' expectation of the way a smart woman should walk through the world versus this idea of like, but I also just want to have fun, you know, and what that looks like.
Even though you're no stranger to adaptation, you wrote obviously the screenplay To All the Boys. How is adapting Along for the Ride different from that experience?
Well, I would say the biggest difference between adapting Along for the Ride and adapting To All the Boys is knowing I was going to direct Along for the Ride. In terms of the world building and the specificity of location and the specificity of soundtrack and the way I would describe characters to give myself a little key into them later on set, because I knew I was never going to have to give it away. Whereas when you're the screenwriter at a certain point, whether you want to hold on to it as tightly as you can, you have to give it away because that's just the way that it works.
Had you wanted to direct before?
So I had directed plays before, and I always knew coming up that I wanted to write and direct. But when I was, you know, young, and at a certain point I said, you know, I should pick a lane and try to just establish myself in one area, always knowing that after working as a writer, I could go back to directing. So it was a goal I had for years, but it wasn't until the success of To All the Boys that I really felt I had the agency to say, this is what I want, and will you please give me this opportunity? I'm ready. And the confidence to say that and to ask for it.
Yes. When it comes to filming and the visual language of the film, what was your biggest challenge in adapting the book into real life on screen?
Yeah, I mean, once we knew that we were going to be filming in Carolina Beach, it was sort of, you know, smooth sailing in terms of the town coming to life. And I know Emma and Belle brought up Clementine's, and something that was so funny about Clementine's was it has to be this magical, really special place. And in prep, we saw a lot of stores that might have been closer to the beach, but you couldn't really tell. And there were these little shoeboxes and they didn't have a lot of light. And we were like, I'm sure we could make it beautiful. I'm sure we could have done something. And I just kept walking by this real estate office that had like windows on all sides. And I was just like, I remember I thought during our first 2 or 3 location scouting sessions, like, you know, I just wish Clementine's could be there. I just wish Clementine's could be there. And then I had this light bulb where I was like, I'm the director. I can just ask if Clementine's can be there. And so finally I was like, I think it just has to be Nest Realty. And then they were like, okay.
Can you talk a little bit about, taking a turn for a second, finding the perfect Auden and Eli?
Well, I remember when Emma auditioned, I just remembered her right away, and she just felt like Auden. She didn't feel like movie Auden, she felt like real Auden. And from the very beginning casting conversations, I had said to everyone, I would really prefer an unknown actress to play this role, because I don't want people to think I'm watching this actress I know from X, Y, and Z playing the character of Auden. I wanted them to feel like Auden and Eli too had like come alive from the book. Like they just stepped out of the book onto their movie screen. And I think both Belle and Emma did that completely.
And what did it feel like seeing the two of seeing those characters that you'd written,
It
been
was-
with, embodied. And
It was crazy.
On
I
screen.
mean, I'm from North Carolina. They were filming in Carolina Beach, North Carolina. So I drove down there, and my first day on set was the big prawn scene on the beach. And so I literally walked into my book. You know, I walked up, and everybody was in costume, and all these things were happening. And I was just standing there, and Emma saw me. She poked Belle, and she's like, "Look who it is!" Like, we had never met, and they both waved at me, and I was like, "Oh my gosh,
did you ever imagine them as real people?
no!" Because to me, they are real people. You know,
Mhm.
I mean, I think when you spend this much time on the page with characters, they have to be real to you.
Mm-hmm.
But I agree that I feel like Emma is Autumn. Like
Mhm.
at this point, nobody else could have done it. You know, and it's so perfect. And I just really am excited for the fans to see these stories come to the screen. I'm excited.
Do you hate it?
I so don't hate it.
Thank you so much for joining us. Beautiful book that you have, beautiful film and story that you brought to life. Along for the Ride is now streaming on Netflix. Be sure to watch this beautiful and delightful film. Great.
This is
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Me on.